this this is going to be an interesting one right here.
Oh,
Oh my
oh,
Jesus!
oh
Oh,
Lord. Oh,
Wait, who is that?
I got a
Not
bad
Marcus
stomach.
Russell, but
I
is
got a
that
wait.
bad. That's from
I
Brett?
Ryan
know,
Leaf.
I know that Jamarcus
That's got
Russell,
to
but
be
who?
Ryan Leaf.
Yes, that is Ryan Leaf on the right.
Oh,
I'm at,
nothing more worse than Jamarcus Russell.
It's let's just be honest. It's Jamarcus
DeMarcus
Russell.
Russell was just lazy. Like there's a saying that goes, bro. Like, and he had talent. There's a saying that goes,
I
hard
hope
work
that's
beats
not my shot.
talent that doesn't work hard. And I listen, it's a saying that I've heard many years ago. Jamarcus Russell was very lazy. He was just yeah. You talk about hardening the fat suit, bro. Like this dude here, man. Oh God, this was
Let's not
as
forget
Stephen.
them blank tapes, them blank DVDs.
Yeah, them blank DVD. Yeah. Oh
Come on
my
now.
God, yeah. And Stephen A. will refer to him as
Jabba the Hutt.
a job of the hut and yeah and everything. So I hope someday we could get a thorough reason why Jamarcus Russell didn't do anything or didn't pan out. It seems like to
He
be
was
it seems to
also.
me it seems to
I,
me
I,
like
I,
a 30 for 30 documentary coming soon, bro. Like that's all it is. But Ryan Leaf obviously
yeah,
was a piece of trash, but he played. But Jamarcus Russell just ugh ugh.
to Jamarcus Russell, he was dealing with a lot of personal problems at the time, losing two of his uncles, Uncle Ray and Uncle Mike. I saw this on Flemlo Raps. He does a great job providing great context. He said both of them were like father figures for Jamarcus, and then once they were gone, it went from downhill with Jamarcus. And it took such an emotional toll on him. That's why his weight kept ballooning. I mean, he showed up at training camp over 300 pounds. And you're talking about a quarterback that's already big enough, that's looking just as big as an offensive lineman. But two things were true. DeMarcus Russell, he was dealing with some personal problems, but I also think that he didn't take football as seriously as he should have. It was his former teammate, Kirk Morrison. He was on the Rich Eisen show, and he talked about a story in which the Raiders staff handed Jamarcus blank DVDs, further validating that Jamarcus Russell was not preparing, was not studying film. And he even told them, "Yeah, I watched all the films, I watched all the tapes when the DVDs were blank." So, I mean, it's bad. And then Ryan Leaf with number one, number two pick. I mean, of course, 98, Peyton Manning. Where the Colts had the first pick, they decided to go with Peyton because the Manning, Tennessee. Ryan Leaf did admitted, I think it was on draft, during the time of the draft, he said he would like to go to Vegas and spend a week in Vegas if he were drafted. And he just didn't take football career that seriously as well. And he was also going through some problems as well. And God bless him. But Champ, how do you feel? Who's the bigger bust?
JaMarcus Russell. I really believe. Here's what I believe, and here's the hot take for me. Another hot take. The
Okay.
only reason why Ryan Leaf was considered a huge bust was because Peyton Manning got drafted first overall. I've
True.
seen more quarterbacks. I'm just being real. Todd Marinovich, Jeff George, just to name a few. I've seen a lot more quarterbacks that was worse than Ryan Leaf that got drafted in the first round, that got drafted first overall. I've seen plenty. We've seen plenty of them. And I really believe because of that draft class, because not only did Peyton Manning go first, you had Randy Moss, he was in that draft. Charles Woodson was in that draft. There was just at least about 4 or 5 Hall of Famers that was in that draft. Same thing with Tony Manders. They don't consider him a huge bust. The reason they consider him a huge bust is because, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, Derek Thomas and Broderick Thomas and Troy Aikman went in the first couple of picks. But the only reason why people consider Ryan Leaf a bigger bust than Jamarcus Russell, the only reason why you would consider that was because of what Peyton Manning became. Other than that, Jamarcus has to be the bigger bust. You got drafted first overall to go to the Raiders #1. That's a very, very renegade organization as it is. And you just didn't produce. You didn't produce at all.
He didn't. In his last year, I think he had 3 touchdowns to 11 interceptions his final
Yeah.
year in Oakland. And not only that, also want to give shout out to Lane Kiffin because he admitted before the draft he tried to convince Al Davis, God rest his soul, he wanted Calvin Johnson with the
Mm-hmm.
first overall pick. But Al Davis saw JaMarcus's performance in the Sugar Bowl game against Notre Dame. And from there, Al Davis decided to win in and go with JaMarcus. But
Wait a second. Wait a second. You mean to tell
what?
me a Sugar Bowl game from JaMarcus Russell was the common denominator from him
Yes,
to
yes,
Megatron?
yes.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin said
Oh
at the
my
time he
God.
wanted Calvin Johnson. He wanted Calvin Johnson
Oh,
out of Georgia Tech, the
right.
6'5", 230-pound receiver who ran a 4.3. He wanted him instead of JaMarcus Russell. But according to Lane Kiffin, and he said it, Leaf, and you can go check it out on YouTube whenever you want.
Right.
Al Davis saw JaMarcus's performance in the Sugar Bowl game against Notre Dame, and from there he wanted JaMarcus. And plus, JaMarcus at that time he was the consensus choice for the #1 overall pick. Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, all these draft experts said the best pro day that they ever saw was JaMarcus Russell out of LSU. 6'6", 260, 265 pounds, launching a football on his knees 60, 65 yards. That's how immensely talented JaMarcus was, and he just did not take football all that seriously. And then we started hearing about all the other problems that he had with codeine and everything else. So yeah, that was actually true, man. So Harrison, bigger bus, JaMarcus
It's JaMarcus Russell. It's JaMarcus Russell.
and Brandon. Brandon.
JaMarcus Russell. JaMarcus Russell, bro. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.